Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, my name is Bruce. I'm gonna start doing that more often now because I think it's so funny to me. So you guys, there has been like a lot of drama within the right-wing movement. Y'all already know that like I'm very anti-Israel, and if you have a problem with that, you can get off my fucking page already. And I really do love Nick Fuentes. I really do. Like, I like his posts that he make on Twitter, and I really, really love his content on Rumble. I actually have been watching his videos for a while now, and I think that they're very entertaining. I think that they're very informative, and I think that they're very relevant to like what's happening today in our society, and with that what's happening in our government too, and who's like controlling our governors in the House and Senate, like it's and even our presidents, and that's something that he actually basically got in trouble with like Jordan Peterson and like his fucking hag daughter. Okay, here's the thing, like I just want to come on here and talk about my opinions on all of this, is what's happening with Jordan Peterson, Mikhalia Peterson, and Nick Fuentes. As a person that's looking like from the outside and looking in, okay? Y'all already know, like, I'm a gay Republican, and y'all and people out there, they take so much offense about that. And you know, now since I'm like on Twitter, I'm like, I like Nick Fuentes. There have been people unfollowing me. There has been people like calling me out, saying like, oh my god, you like Nick Fuentes, I'm unfollowing you, that's a white supremacist, he racist, he this, he's that. But he's over here praying Candace Owens for basically putting America first. So I'm just on the outside looking in and just looking at how everyone reacts, and watching all the frauds just like fall apart, like Jordan Peterson and Mikhalia Peterson. Y'all already know, like, Jordan Peterson and Mikhalia Peterson, they've been basically like, their whole careers have always been about freedom of speech. It's always been about freedom of speech. It's always been about like, you know, being able to you know, say your differences and stuff like that, because freedom of speech is why our society keeps on, like, you know, going. Like, we can't have a functioning society without freedom of speech, and being able to, you know, put down our differences with other people and debating. And I want to watch this video with you guys because honestly, this is something that I agree with. I agree with freedom of speech. I agree with debating our differences, whether or not we like each other or not. Like, I think that that's something that we should all be able to do. But Jordan Peterson and Mikhalia Peterson has recently not been about that, and the fact that they have grown such a huge empire over the years, have garnered millions upon millions of dollars based on this. And also they're Canadian too, based on like, because their government, like, we already know, like, Justin Trudeau is not for freedom of speech. Like, look what happened to like the people that were anti-V, and then, like, how they were shutting down their credit cards and, you know, their banks and stuff like that, simply because they have a different opinion and that they don't want to put a drug inside their body that they don't trust, and that's completely fine. And you know, Jordan Peterson was very against like the trans movement and stuff like that as well. But I just want to show you this video because this is something that like we all were, you know, on board with Jordan Peterson. But to me, I feel like that he has changed so much since he's became like within the realm of Daily Wire. Exactly. Now that is what I like to see. But as we look on Twitter recently, and we've seen there was a post that Nick Fuentes comment underneath, and Jordan Peterson calls him a rat, which is fine. But you know what's so funny about Jordan Peterson? Like, he's always crying about people always coming for him. Like, recently there was a picture of him going around, and they literally made an AI photo depicting Jordan Peterson, but made him like a rat, and they put "You're all rats," and he literally called out everyone and added Elon Musk, saying there is a lot of this on X and more of all the time. There's no consequences for psychopathic behavior on the platform, and casual anonymity has a lot to do with it. Separate the real people with verified and genuine IDs from the pathetic, cowardly, anonymous troll demons. So he's calling for Elon Musk to put private people out there by making them to verify their accounts, and also giving them giving like a social media company their ID, just so he can verify who they are. So he can do what I think that Jordan Peterson would want to do. He would want to go after these people's jobs. He would want to cancel them. That's what he wants to do. But he can't do that because people are doing it from anonymous accounts, which is fine. Like that's why we should have privacy online and also within our lives. Like, Jordan Peterson is not for freedom of speech. I don't believe he is. I think that he is a weak man. I truly do. I think he's a weak man that's drugged out of his mind. And he has, gone off the deep end. I truly do. But this is the tweet that Nick Fuentes commented underneath, and then Jordan Peterson called him a rat. Lomez, this is by a Twitter user, and the person said, the weirdest thing about this is realizing we don't have a president, and haven't for a while, and no one has a clue who is making decisions on behalf of our country. Nobody even bothers to ask. Who exactly is in charge? Nobody knows. And Nick Fuentes' comment is simply, Jews. Which is so true. Like, if you look at the administration, which in my last video, if you watch, I talk about who is behind the administration of Joe Biden, and it's simply Jewish people. For the majority, it is Jews. It is. Like, look at the chart. It is mostly Jews, okay? Which Joe Biden has said in the past that this is the most diverse, quote, quote, diverse administration he's ever had or has ever seen, which I don't agree with. Like, it's mostly Jewish people. And as we know, like, and we've seen how Joe Biden has been moving lately. I mean, he has been moving for a while. If you're not stupid, you know that he's brain dead. Like, oh my God. He's brain dead. And he's not mentally well. I don't believe he's mentally well. I don't believe anyone out there thinks he's mentally well. Right now, literally, Time Magazine literally posted this. Literally him walking off the Time Magazine cover because they think that he's demented. He's gone. And now everyone is like trying to replace him with Kamala or someone else, which I would think it'd be Kamala. And they'll try to just like exclude him from the race. That's just how I see it. And now they're out here saying that, like, oh, like, Kamala is actually much more higher on the polls than Donald Trump. They're already trying to fucking cheat. They're already trying to cheat. They're already like, we already done with him, so now we have to go with what the leftist lunatics want, which is Kamala Harris. And I've never seen anyone out there who actually wants to advocate for Kamala Harris, except for laugh at her. I even laugh at her myself. Like, I think she's funny. She should just be a fucking influencer, bitch. I will follow her just to be a fucking an influencer, not the fucking president of the United fucking States. No, we don't want that. But of course, like, they're gonna cheat. But anyways, so it's apparent that it's the Jews that is controlling our country. It's not Joe Biden. It's not an American. I don't believe, like, when I see these people, they don't give me America first vibes. They give me Israel first vibes. Like Alejandro Mayorkas, he obviously has an agenda. That's why we have so many fucking illegal immigrants in this fucking country. There is an agenda within those people's teachings that we're goy, you're nothing less. You're nothing. you're less than. That's what you are to them, and it shows. It shows that they just want to ruin our country. They want to shrink the white population, and it's all due to like history. It really is. If you go back in history and you look at like how Christians treated Jews and Jews treated Christians and vice versa, and it all stems back to like Christ Jesus and who also murdered Jesus. The Jews had a lot to do with that, with the help of the Romans. Like we know this, and it's like a never-ending hatred. It's literally a never-ending hatred that is brewing within the Jewish community, and that's why they don't like when you say Christ is king, because they don't believe that Christ is actually the Son of God, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. They don't believe that, which I find to be very demonic. I do. I find it to be very demonic, in my opinion. But despite Nick Fuentes saying Jews and responding to that person, Jordan Peterson went on to say, "Oh my God, it's really thunderstorming. I'm so sorry." He literally called him. He said, "You at Nick Fuentes, really a psychopathic rat." That's what you call him. And then Mikhalia, she went on the deep end as well when Dr. Anastasia Marie. I love her page. I actually agree with everything she says, and I think she's a great patriot. I truly do. She posted a post about basically who owns the porn industry, who owns OnlyFans. It says Tinder, Grindr, Bumble, Pornhub, and all of them are literally Jews. And motherfucking Mikhalia, this is what she said, which I found to be such a slap in the face, and she's basically advocating for censorship. This is what Mikhalia Peterson said. "Yes, I think the Nazis on X equating Jews with rats and using hashtags like hashtag filth should have more content moderation censorship. No, I'm not retracting that statement." And she got basically ratioed by Gentel News Network, which I love as well. They said, the Talmud calls us cattle and beasts, right? But I'm guessing you're not going to promote censoring that, are you? And she literally deleted that post. She retracted her words. And she got into it with Nick Fuentes again. She said, "You sound mad you weren't born a Jew." And Nick Fuentes said, "I'm actually blessed to have been born an American Catholic. Really weird thing to say though. You're not even Jewish yet. You and your father glaze them more than you glaze Andrew Tate." There's been also videos and photos of Andrew Tate and Mikhalia looking very comfy with each other a while back, which is so funny. But I just think it's so crazy how Mikhalia, she calls for censorship, and she says that equating Jews with saying that they're rats or using hashtags, which Dr. Anastasia, she wasn't calling all Jews rats or filth. Underneath her post, she did put hashtag filth because of the people that she named that were on these porn sites and these dating sites, which promotes degeneracy 1000%. I'm not on none of those dating sites anymore. I used to be. I think they're very disastrous, and you never really truly find love. I'm not saying that I won't get on there ever in my life, but right now I'm no, I'd rather just find someone in the fucking store and do something natural. These dating sites are gross. It's degenerate. The men on there are women. The girls on there are pretend to be men and trying to get with someone like me, feminine old gay Bruce, as myself. And I'm no, I don't want to be with a woman. So it's really gross. Everyone's gross on there. I can't stand it. And I don't think that she was trying to refer to all Jews as being filth. She's just calling these specific Jews filth. Because how are you gonna be a rabbi and then own all these porn companies? It's ain't that weird? It's totally against what most Christians, even myself, is about. And even though I have my own shortcomings and stuff like that. Like, no one's not. I'm not going to act like I'm perfect or anything like that. But the Christian values is like, you shouldn't be watching porn, you shouldn't be masturbating, you shouldn't be doing all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of weird to see rabbis to be owning porn industries. But also, he like cut like half of the profit with his 17-year-old daughter when he started to get into porn, like the Pornhub industry. Like, really weird shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really weird shit. But the call for censorship, simply because, like, she called them filth, didn't even say rats, called them filth, it's just so against freedom of speech. And that's the whole purpose of all of this. Like, these people are so fake. They're so bought out. And it has been happening throughout all of the right-wing influencers. Like, ever since October 7th happened, I kid you not, everyone has literally put in their fucking, like, they put in their fucking free speech passes to Israel. Because either they work for an organization like PerU or Breitbart, or they're also getting, like, sponsorships, or they're getting paid, whether it's in the government or out of the government. Right-wing influencers have literally taken the bait and, like, literally put their free speech passes in the hands of these people that don't want them to criticize a foreign nation, which is Israel. And it's obvious that Mikhalia Peterson and Jordan Peterson are also bought out, because they're literally with the Daily Wire. And look what happened to Candace Owens. She's been cut from the Daily Wire because she criticized a foreign nation. It wasn't really about her criticizing a foreign nation. It was really about her, like, speaking out and, basically defending herself against people that are Jewish, which is Rabbi Shmuley, who came for her for the past 3 years now. Like, and when she came out and spoken about him and called him filth, called him disgusting, and talked about his hag daughter, that's when they want to cut her out. And it's not right. I think that it's crazy how they all, perpetuate that they're all for freedom of speech, but when it comes to specific people, it's a problem. See, when you can't criticize people, certain individuals, that's because they hold so much power. That's what the fuck it is. And that's why people like me, I'm not bought out. I kid you not. Like, every single right-wing influencer out there is so bought out. They can't speak against the Jewish takeover in our government. They can't speak against a foreign nation, which is Israel, at all. They can speak about anything else, but they cannot speak about that. It's because they're all bought out. And I'm telling you right now, and it's because a lot of these people, all they want is fame and money. And, recently I did comment under someone's post, and I'm not going to say who. And I commented something like, oh, I don't like Israel, but I do think, like, the pro-Palestine, like, degenerate side of the pro-Palestine movement is, like, basically disgusting. And they irritate me. And this person replied, like, oh, I love them, referring to Jews in Israel, saying, I love them. And, I love that they boost my posts. So it's not like these people actually care about, whether or not they're Jew or not. It's about the money. It's about, it's not about, like, protecting them from anti-Semitism. You know what I mean? Like, it's about that money. It's about the boost in their posts. It's about the engagement. That's all it is about. And, I'd rather sacrifice all of that for money, fame, or anything. I just want to come over here and give my 2 cents and tell the truth about what's actually happening. Because I live in this country, and I care about this country as a man that so happens to be black, gay, which is the least important things about me. And I think that that's how it should be. It shouldn't be about our race and stuff like that, but it's so funny how, like, the patterns don't stop patterning. That's the thing. The patterns never stop patterning. And that's why I tell my people out there, like, you need to, like, look at the patterns. Watch the patterns. When you start to see, that's how I know so many of you out there, you claim to have, like, a high IQ, or, like, you claim to be better than people like me. But you can't even look at the patterns. Why can't you? Why can't you look at the patterns? It's because you're dumb. That's why. You're dumb. And I'm not. I see what's happening. I see that there's a lot of censorship happening on Twitter now. There is, even when Nick Fuentes, you know, responded to that person like who is taking over, who is running this country, and he said the Jews. His post was basically, it wasn't visible. It wasn't visible at all. I can literally read y'all. It says, visibility limited. This post may violate X rules against hateful conduct. What's so hateful with just saying the word Jews? You see what I mean? Elon Musk. I have said this from the start. Ever since when, Kanye West was coming out talking about who controls their contracts and stuff like that, and people in the industry, and he was speaking about the Jewish takeover and the media and stuff like that. He didn't get far about what's happening in our government, but he was, putting his foot in the ground when he was talking about the media and the contracts and who's actually being these people's handlers out here, mentioning entertainers and stuff like that. He was getting censored and banned off of Twitter. And Elon Musk, he advocated for freedom of speech, that we should have total freedom of speech and stuff like that, but I don't believe him. I don't. I think that his whole purpose, which we all been compromised if this is true. At first he was with this Israeli company that was basically, collecting our data, and he recently, just now, since we've noticed, has switched over to a independent, whatever. And I've always said he wanted to get our data. He wants to do something else with it. And I think it does have to do with AI. I think it does have to do with robotics, technology, future technology. He's very into the Neuralink thing, and I just found it to be very weird. I don't know, this could all be a theory coming from me. That could all be a theory, but I truly don't believe that Elon Musk is truly for people like he says he is. I don't think so for 1 minute, and it's showing right now. Mikhalia Peterson is getting what she wished. Nicholas Fuentes and Lucas Gage recently has been taken off X, and he's basically been reinstated back on. But Elon Musk, he's very squirmy with why he was taken off. It wasn't about him burning the Israeli flag. It wasn't about him burning the Jewish Bible. Elon reposted on his page saying the reason why Lucas Gage was basically suspended for 6 months is basically because of this post that Lucas Gage posted. He said, the rabbi admit Jewishness is a poison to us. We have every right to remove these poisonous people and their satanic isms from our society. And I'll post a post right here. And it basically says, honest Jew Rabbi Harry Watton says Hitler was right and that Judaism is poison to the Aryan races. And, I guess Twitter, X, whatever the fuck you call it, deemed this to be, violent, because he also claims that Lucas Gage may repeat it in clear calls for violence, which is illegal, hence 6 months suspension. Rule applies to everyone apart from the UN exemption, but recognized leaders of countries. If politicians can say something to the UN General Assembly, then they can say it here. But Lucas Gage wasn't trying to say we have to remove these people in a violent way. He's basically saying remove these people from the higher, ups that is within our government that is ruling shit right now. That's basically what it is. And the people who are trying to basically, put more degeneracy in our society, which I agree with. Yes, remove these people. Get these people out of our fucking government. Get these people out of here. They don't want. Look what's happening. Look what's happening in this country. Look. It's gone to shit, and these people are behind it. It's true. I'm not saying that all of them are. I'm not saying that all Jewish people are, but for the most part, they come together and they agree. They agree with this agenda that's happening in this country. Most leftists are Jewish people. Most of the people that are within the administration right now are leftists. Okay, so there's no like there's no mistake here. Okay, that yeah, these people should be removed from our fucking government. They're destroying our fucking country. Period. But I guess X took that as like a violent thing, but I don't see anything violent about that. It's not like he said murder all of these people or whatever like that. He didn't say that. But that's what I mean. Like, I think Elon Musk is very squirmy. I don't believe that he's truly America first at all. I don't. I think he got on this bandwagon to do it for his own interests. I do. He invested in this, and he's gonna like make sure that he can invest in this in the worst way possible. That's in my opinion. But anyways, what's your opinion on all of this? Let me know down below. I truly think that the Petersons are literally going down the toilet. I don't believe that they are truly for free speech and truly for a debate. Why can't they just go ahead, sit down with Candace Owens, sit down with Nick Fuentes, and have a sit down conversation about this all they want? Why won't they? It's because they know that they're not telling the truth. And it's so obvious. Like, I never understood the hype with Jordan Peterson at all. Never have, and I never will. Because don't you guys remember like that that one time that Matthew McConaughey, he went to the White House and he was basically on the podium and he was, you know, speaking about Uvalde, because y'all remember with that mass shooting that happened at Uvalde, which was very tragic. But you know, like, this was the time that, you know, Democrats and progressives were calling for, you know, gun control, and they still are advocating for gun control, which I find to be a communist manifesto. That's a communist manifesto, okay? And that's just calling for more control from the government. That's all it is. They don't want you to have the right to bear arms, but I remember when Jordan Peterson, he retweeted Matthew McConaughey going to the White House and pleading for gun control. And like, you know, y'all have to remember, like, when I see someone who's Canadian, I'm sorry, like, I don't see them as strong. I don't. Like, honestly, I need lip gloss or something. As I call him a weak man, I'm putting on lip gloss. Yes, because I kid you not, I'm 10 times more stronger than Jordan Peterson and his wife and his whole family combined. With my lip gloss on. What a weak man falls for gun control propaganda. Like, it's like, it's so un-American, and that's why. It's because he's from Canada. He's from Canada, dude. He literally gooped y'all so fucking hard. Like, he got you. And no one talks about that. The only person that I've ever seen talk about that has been Anomaly. And even before Anomaly even talked about it, I never was a fan of Jordan Peterson. Never have. Just like I've never been a fan of Ben Shapiro. Never have. Never been a fan of Michael Knowles. Never have. Never. Well, I've been a fan of Matt Walsh when he did, like, was a woman thing, whatever have you. That was good. He has great takes sometimes, but it's never been them. It's never been them. It's always been Candace Owens. It's always been independent people like, Anomaly. Who else? Propaganda Fluent, Layla Gray. Who else? There's many other people out there that I can name, but I forget their names, to be honest. But there's so many out there that's independent, that has their own thinking cap, very interesting people. I find to be very intellectual and smart. Like, I don't find Jordan Peterson that intellectually smart. I don't find Ben Shapiro to be that intellectually smart. They sound smart, but they don't give me smart. Like, that's my thing. Like, I just never fell for these people. A lot of you have, and I just don't. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm a, what can I say? I'm very intuitive. I really am. I'm very intuitive. I'm very aware about what I see people doing. I follow everything that people do out there. I watch you. I watch everyone. I do. And just so I can call it out. and tell you guys to watch out, because these people are not real. And that's my thing. Like, ever since he did that, like, it's just like, yeah, it just knocks the nail right on the right in the coffin for me. Like, he's not really for free speech. He's not really for, he's not pro-gun. He's not pro-American values. He's only for them when it benefits him. And look how it has benefited their family. They have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars off the backs of you morons out there. But anyways, that's my take on all of this. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys subscribe. And if you're a dumbass motherfucker, don't subscribe. And yeah.